Get the comfy chair!
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad and the Odd with your hosts, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello.
Right, so it's a comfy chair. We're doing this in, late November, but it's really our December comfy chair. And honestly, after today, we're going into December, and then I'm in full Christmas mode anyway, so I'm not sure the comfy... So the next comfy chair will be all Christmas stuff if we do it in January, but we'll see. Right? Okay, cool. As we sort of mentioned last time, we're not got a particular format for this other than we're going to ping pong backwards and forwards and do 45 minutes or something like that. We'll just see how we go. Okay, shall I go first?
Yeah, sure.
Right, I watched on Disney Plus Shang-Chi.
Oh, so did I.
Oh, okay. So you watched it too. So Shang-Chi. I quite like this. Yeah. I had a bit of trouble engaging with some of the characters. I just didn't quite get the characters. But I quite like Katie. And by the time the film got towards the end, Katie's I don't know if she's the girlfriend or female friend of
Let's
the
just
lead
call her
character.
sidekick for now.
Yeah, because at first, because they were going for meals together, I thought they were a couple, but it felt more like they were friends. As it went on,
I just wrong with the assumption that they're friends, but then at the end there's a somewhat like comforting romantic gesture.
Yes,
and then she just leaned her head on his shoulder. It's like, there's something going there. Plus, apparently, seemingly has been like tweeting about it. So
yeah, and I have to say, there's some fantastic cameos in this that I don't know whether I should mention. Because are they spoil? Not really. They don't really affect the story, do they? So are they spoilers? I don't know. One, particularly there's some early ones who pop up a bit later that made me kind of chuckle because one of them certainly doesn't actually work in the MCU, but he's part of the MCU. But in this particular role, seems a bit out of place. You know what? I'm just going to mention.
Yeah, let's just say it's spoilers active.
Yeah, for a few minutes. It's Wong from Doctor Strange and the Abomination from the Incredible Hulk, right?
See, they were in the trailer, so I knew that they were coming.
Oh, okay. In that case, I don't think we need to worry about spoilers. If they were in the trailer, everyone knew that. That was kind of fun. And Wong in particular was kind of fun to see a bit later on too. Up to shenanigans. It was kind of fun. It didn't need to particularly be there, but actually, that's not quite true. Wong kind of helped things move things along a bit, but they were introduced by being cage fighters in a special club, which was kind of fun. So first they didn't really have anything to do with the plot. They were just kind of background and like, whoa, look, cameos. But Wong actually does sort of convert.
He does show up and sort of do. He kind of pulls a Nick Fury in Iron Man 1. Where it's like, there's more going on here, sort of thing.
There's more going on. That's right. I have to say, some of the fight scenes were terrific. I really like. There was a bus fight scene, which was really good, and there was this fight with like ninja types. Fighting
on
with
the side of a building.
On the side of a building, so scaffolding. So it was multi-dimensional in that they were fighting, going up and down the scaffolding and side to side, kind of, and people falling off and being rescued and this, that, and the other. It was a lot of fun. The fight was pretty intense, actually. But I really quite enjoyed this. I felt like the plot felt a little weak until we got towards the end, and where our lead character Shang-Chi just kind of went for it. He kind of accepted his fate, his destiny, as it were. And also Michelle Yeoh turns up, and she's really good as well. I really liked her. And there were some badass fighters in this. There was Shang-Chi and his sister, and various other people.
Yeah, there was some really good fighting. I will say that I did quite like something you don't really actually see in these Marvel superhero films is, saving people.
Yeah.
So, like this, they don't do that often. The only other time I can really think of is in one of the Spider-Man, where
Spider-Man definitely does.
Or the Iron Man drones, like, put a like a ship that's been cut in half back together again.
Yeah. You're quite right. The Marvel universe tends to concern itself with itself.
It tends to be more superhero scraps as opposed to.
Yeah. And funny enough, the one time they don't save people creates that massive tension that leads to the Civil War, right? But that's a whole like city or whatever, not just individuals. But Spider-Man is always rescuing people, isn't it? But everyone else, not so much. You're quite right there. It's kind of odd. And funny enough, when you think about it, the most recent DC is kind of like that too. Whereas the the Superman and in fact. There's a bit in I'm trying to think. There's a bit in Keaton's Batman as well. Yeah. Whereas one of the problems with Man of Steel is that it seemed like
the blatantly huge loss of life.
Superman didn't seem to care. And to the point that, but then his Pa Kent was done all right. Yeah, let's not get into that. The problem with that Superman, but DC was much more on that. But certainly with Superman before the Snyderverse versions of stuff. But yeah, Shang-Chi was a lot of fun. I'm kind of very pleased I got to see it. There's some new ones coming out soon as well, which look pretty cool. Eternals, I'm really not bothered about, but I'll probably get. I'm going to watch it when it lands on Disney Plus. I think I'll watch it, but honestly, the trailers left me cold. I have to say.
Yeah, they're not great.
No, but I mean, the Spider-Man's out soon, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah, that looks really good. And I'm trying to think. There is another Marvel that's coming out soon.
There's a bunch of TV shows. There's Hawkeye is coming out currently.
It's out now, but I haven't got to see in that yet.
Yeah, there's also like She-Hulk, Blade, and a bunch of others coming out.
There's a Morbius filming production, isn't it?
Yeah, that's by Sony though. So
that is a weird character to bring to the screen. I'm kind of intrigued. Funny enough, that's where Blade come from, right? From the comic strip about Morbius. So it's kind of interesting that Blade was like a secondary character in a strip that hardly anyone's heard of. It's kind of. But Shang-Chi, I did used to read, I think it was something like The Deadly Hands of Kung Fu Marvel, but I was like, it must have been nearly 50 years ago when I last read any of those. So I can't really remember it. But Shang-Chi's kind of interesting. It originated from the Kung Fu craze that typified with, Bruce Lee's entry into sort of Hollywood.
Shang-Chi was one of those. He was one of the Deadly Hands of Kung Fu.
Yes, he was in it. Yeah. I think he was the main one. I think there might have been others. Yeah. But I quite like this film, and I think Marvel was still bringing some good stuff out. Like I did like the Eternals, but I really did like Black Widow. That was great. And Shang-Chi was pretty solid, and I'm looking forward to more. Okay, so that was mine, and it was yours too, right? So do you want to?
Okay, I'll go next. So me and my friend have been playing this game called Micro Macro. It's a board game. Well, I say board game. It's actually like a big paper map reading game where you basically get given a mystery and you have to slowly piece together what's happened by finding bits on this map. So you'll get a card that says, oh, Mr. Mustache has been murdered at his house in the west side of the city. See if you can find his body, and that's your task. And you have to look around on the west side of the city. You get a picture of Mr. Mustache, and it's like, oh, there he is. You got like a little magnifying glass to help you out, and then it's like, and then it gives you a bit more of the story of what's going on. It's like, Mr. Mustache seems to have collapsed in his garden. Can you find out why he's doing that? Why that happened?
So it's a bit of a detective.
You're doing detective work. Me and my friend, we had to figure out the train network underneath the map, which there is no way of knowing. It's just you get like a subway that says U1, and then somewhere else the other side of U1 will be. It's like we're looking around this for ages trying to find the other end of U1.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds fun.
It's really good.
So a tabletop game, really, right?
Yeah.
So worked for two people, did it?
It can work for any amount of people, really.
Okay,
just
that's
it's
cool.
like it's just like a deduction game, sort of.
Yeah, and while we don't talk about it much, we are a big board game, tabletop gaming family, aren't we? We do play a lot of games when we get together, board games of all sorts. Maybe we should talk about some of them.
I've got a few board games.
Have you? Okay, cool. All right, okay. Okay, Micro Macro. Nice. All right, okay. My next one is a movie from 1985, horror comedy kind of thing. It's called Fright Night. It was remade in the 2010s, I think, with Anton Yelchin and Colin Farrell, if I remember rightly, and David Tennant. But the original one has Roddy McDowall being a kind of composite of Peter Cushing and Vincent Price. His character name is Peter Vincent, as a young lad who is kind of obsessed with horror films, but he's got a girlfriend who's played by the actress who's Marcy from Married with Children when she was younger.
Oh, okay.
She's really good in it as well. And it's what's his name? Christopher Prince Humperdinck from Princess Bride. Christopher Sarandon. Susan Sarandon's brother. But Christopher Sarandon is like the vampire next door, and it's all these shenanigans where no one really believes Charlie. And Peter Vincent runs a horror show where he claims that he's like a presenting horror films. He's one of those, like Elvira and the Crypt Keeper, is that kind of thing. But he's been fired because no one's interested in the old horror films anymore. But, he always talks about, yes, I know about vampires because I fought them and stuff like this, that, and the other. So basically, the lad who knows there's a vampire next door goes and talks to him and sort of says, yeah, can you help me? And he's like, no. He's just been fired, so he's super grumpy, right? Yeah. And he's got a gig somewhere else that isn't very good. But I think his girlfriend and another friend say, look, we'll pay you if you do it. We'll give you some money just to sort of settle this down, because they were a bit worried about Charlie. Charlie's the guy's name. But he's got this trick from a film where Charlie says, you could do what you did in, All Due the Dead or whatever it was called, where he basically has a little case with a mirror and opened it in the film, and he saw the vampire had no reflection. And he says, yes, I've even bought the case. And he phones up Christopher Sarandon and says, look, I've got to come and do this. And he says, he wants me to do this. And he says, well, look, after the phone call, you see they sort of talk to Peter Vincent, and he says, well, we can't take crosses and we can't use real holy water. And they say, why not? He goes, he's a born again Christian. It would be offensive. So he takes a bottle of normal water and pretends it's holy water and throws it about. And Charlie's going, no, it can't be holy water. But then inadvertently, Peter Vincent does his trick from the film. Opens the case because he's like, memories, and then he sees there's no reflection. He gets terrified and runs off, basically. Runs away. But then he comes back again. He realizes he needs to help this lad, and there's a big fight. And there's a lot of practical effects, vampire-y, rubbery mask, kind of good ones too. They stand up, and there's some really cool lines in it. And some really quite effective scenes. And Christopher Sarandon is a very good, smooth, debonair vampire. He really works well in that role. So good film. I really like it. It's a good, solid sort of comedy horror from the mid-80s. I much prefer it to the remake. The remake's not bad, especially David Tennant is quite good. In that one, David Tennant's like a Vegas magician, gothy magician type, acting all moody, who claims that he's fought vampires. So that's how they kind of bring it up to date a bit, rather than being a movie presenter kind of type. But it's kind of okay as well. And Anton Yelchin's really good. I really like Anton Yelchin in it. But I prefer the one from the 80s. Yeah, so good film that. So Fright Night from 1985.
Okay. So my next one is the Arkham Horror card game. There's another one my friend got. He got it as retail therapy because his job's a bit rough at the moment. Okay. So it's a sort of narrative. It's a card-based version of the Arkham Horror board game. So you're
Which
playing.
I've got, and it's horribly complicated.
Yeah, this card one is complicated, but it's a significantly easier than the board game, I will say.
Okay, I wouldn't mind trying that sometime. Actually.
Yeah, it's quite fun, but it's a legacy style game. So what you do in one game will affect the next one.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
So, for example, me and my friend, we had the option. The house that we were in got somehow teleported into some underground world that was full of ghouls, and we had to figure out a way to stop the ghouls coming through, so they couldn't affect the real world.
Okay, you had to find a book or an amulet or something.
Yeah, we had to kill this ghoul priest in the end. It was,
okay.
But we had the option at all times to just run and try and burn the house down as we were leaving.
Yeah,
we would have got a different end depending on which we got. So,
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, we ended up killing it, but we then had the option to still burn the house down just to stop any chance of them getting through, or keep it as because of emotional reasons, because it is supposed to be one of the characters' houses. So
I see. Yeah.
So yeah. So you've got decisions to make. It's more like an RPG, really.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, that sounds cool. That sounds really cool. How long was the game?
We ended up playing for 2 hours, but we were also learning how to play at the same time.
Oh, yeah, that always delays. And you enjoy it a lot more the second time because you've internalized some of the rules, so you don't feel like you have to stop every 2 minutes to work out if you're doing the right thing or not. Games always tend to be better second play, don't they?
We did figure out that we were basically playing on hard mode accidentally, because there's a mechanic called the chaos bag, which is when you do a skill test, you have to take a token out of the chaos bag. We thought it was 2 tokens, and some of these things are really harsh negative modifiers, like -4 or something.
Oh my goodness.
You have to match or equal, or you have to match or be higher than whatever you're trying to do to pass a skill test.
And you still won, did you?
Yeah, we still ended up winning, but we did realize pretty much during the last fight that we only needed to draw 1. So yeah.
So the game may have been much shorter actually if you hadn't have had that dynamic. Okay, well you know better next time then, right?
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I wasn't going to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about a board game now, which you and I played, right? Which was Legendary Encounters, the A version. This is a board game, which is a kind of a deck building game. A tabletop game, I should say. It's kind of a deck building game in that you're buying cards that give you more powers to either buy better cards or fight the aliens, right? While the aliens keep coming. They keep coming. And the game itself actually has lots of different modes. You can play. It's based heavily. Well, it is based on the films, the 4 Alien films. And you and I played the Alien version.
Yeah,
I have also played the Aliens version, and I have yet to play Alien 3 and Alien 4. I forgot what it's called now. Resurrection. So I've yet to play those versions, but I have to say the Alien version felt to me like quite a good port from the first film. It was a little more actiony, but it was pretty rock solid. And I have to tell you, the Aliens version is way more aliens, but you also have way more firepower to deal with them. So it does reflect the Aliens movie. But anyway, the first game you and I played, we didn't win in the end, did we? I can't remember now. Did we win?
No, we didn't.
We died right at the end. The alien got us. But it was kind of we thought it was breezing through when suddenly everything got really hard. But I've played this game about 4 times now, and I really, really like it. The more I play it, the more I like it, because I think I'm internalizing the rules, which can be a little daunting. And setup is quite daunting because there's lots of very similar cards that look really similar, but you got to sort them in a certain way and sort them out. But once you're playing, it's actually pretty straightforward, I thought, actually. What did you think?
Yeah, it's a really fun game. I've played the Marvel Legendary as well, and
Yeah.
that was also very fun. But it seems to be that they're all quite different games.
Yeah.
Like the Marvel one was more about fighting constantly. There was less like story progression for fighting the villains. It was close to the DC deck builder.
Okay, which is another tabletop
Yeah.
game I play a lot of. We'll talk about that sometime. But this is more slightly more strategic then, right? The Alien.
Yeah, this one's way more strategic. You need to
I-
do a lot of communicating together. So,
Yeah, I had a look also what other Legendary Encounter games are, and I was quite excited because there was a James Bond one. It sounded kind of cool, but then apparently it's only based on 4 of the films, not all of the films.
and
which
I'm
was
not that
disappointing.
surprised. So.
Yeah, I was quite disappointed by that. But the what if I were to get another one, the next one, and there are several. There's a Firefly one and a Marvel one, like you say, and stuff. I think if I was to get another one, the next one I get is like an X-Files one, because I just feel like the conspiratorial nature of the X-Files might suit the way the game works quite well. Because presumably in that you uncover facts, right?
Yeah.
Try to work out mysteries, whereas in the Alien one, you're clearly trying to beat aliens or escape from the aliens, depending on which mode you play. So it is, the first one you're trying to kill the alien. The second film, you're just trying to escape from a horde of aliens. Now there was clearly more than one alien in the game we played, but there was one big bad alien and that was the one we had to beat, right? And we didn't succeed. But it plays quite well. I've played it with 2 people and 3, and when you and I played, we played with 3 of us, didn't we? So and it works just as well with 2 or 3. I believe it goes up to 4. It might even be more. But it works very well. I've very much enjoyed this game. I'm kind of looking forward to playing it again sometime. You just need a little patience with the setup. That's all. That's me. What's your name?
So my next one is I've slowly worked. You've been part of this too, but I've slowly worked my way through all of the available Archer on Netflix. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know what I was going to talk about, because I finished just before we started recording this. I just finished season 9, which had an very intriguing tease for season 10.
Yeah,
that was kind of cool. They just keep just as funny as ever. It's weird though, isn't it? The season. I'm trying to think. Season 8,
9 and
10 are not the conventional Archer we know.
No, because Archer, spoilers for something that came out like 5 years ago, but Archer gets shot during the events of season 7 and basically gets left in a pool for a few hours. So he falls into a coma, and seasons 8, 9, and 10 are all his coma dreams, and they're all different genres of different shows. So like the first one's like a hard-boiled Hollywood detective sort of thing. Next one's a pulpy like Indiana Jones-esque sort of thing, and the final one is a sci-fi like space. Yeah. It's honestly closest to Red Dwarf in that they're kind of just bumming about space, trying to look for stuff to do.
Well, the teaser that was at the end of season 8 made it look more like Alien, actually.
Yeah.
In some respects, certainly in the stylistically, and they were using shots that looked like they came lifted from Alien.
Oh yeah,
but that was probably a mislead, right? That was mislead. But I like I said, I just finished season. I'm trying to get this right. 9.
Season 9 is the Indiana Jones one, yeah.
The Indiana Jones one, where they're fighting. It's before World War II, but they're
fighting Nazis.
Yeah. And it was interesting because I was kind of getting a bit nitty, because at one point they start talking about hobbits, and it's like, hold on.
Yeah.
The hot, and they also said, so many songs, and they said, hold on, The Hobbit came out in 1937, fair enough, but Lord of the Rings didn't come out until 54. That's me being a super nerd.
Yeah.
But actually, they then talk about it a bit more, and what they're talking about is The Hobbit. So I can let that go.
They do like a protracted bit where they explain how they have the cultural knowledge of hobbits.
Yeah,
so
they do, and it's kind of funny. And I just like some of the decisions they made. They're nuts. One of the main characters is a parrot, an intelligent parrot, not just a parrot, but one who actually could reason. And no one really, talks about
they just tell him to shut up every time he talks.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like,
so
shut
weird.
up, bird.
It's
Okay,
so weird. And it's like, I quite enjoyed it. So I am going to watch the next one, but I'm parking it for December. Okay. December is Christmassy stuff for me, so I'll be going back to it early January. I might pick up the day after Christmas. You know, when everyone's sitting around not doing much.
Yeah.
I might actually start it again the day after Christmas. But for now, I'm going to be just watching Christmas TV shows and Christmas movies, pretty much. But we'll see. Yeah, but really good series. You and I used to watch it every day together, didn't we? Actually?
Yeah, for a while. Just to get through it, sort of thing.
Yeah, and that was fun. So yeah, I enjoy Archer quite a bit too.
Yeah.
So my next one is, I'm just having a think what to talk about next. Okay, I'm doing a massive rewatch of Doctor Who. Massive. Which means I started with Hartnell, and now I'm in the second series that Jon Pertwee's in. I'm not going to talk about that though. I'm going to talk about the one before that, which is Patrick Troughton's era. There was some nuts stuff in this one. There was some quite bad stories, but there's some really excellent ones too. The stuff with Cybermen was really cool, but you know what? There was some really crazy stuff, and we all think Doctor Who's kind of stagey and old-fashioned in the original run. Certainly pre-Tom Baker, and people think of that. But that was not true. There was some nuts storylines. There was the Daleks trying to sort of mutate people, which I was shocked when that was on a storyline from the 60s.
Yeah.
I thought that was the sort of thing they did in the new rebooted version. The 10th, 11th, 12th Doctor, not the second Doctor.
Yeah.
And there was also some stylistic stuff that made me laugh. Like there was one point where Patrick Troughton was walking around in a fur coat and sunglasses, which again feels much more modern era.
Yeah.
But no, Patrick Troughton was doing all that, and Troughton was a great Doctor Who. Really, really enjoyable, and I really did enjoy it. Now, the only thing is that series, that run of Doctor Who's, as well as Hartnell's one, and Hartnell's one even more so, there's a lot missing. So there's a lot of the episodes you can kind of see a version, but they're often reconstructed, which means they've got the audio track. They seem to have the audio tracks of everything, right?
Yeah.
But what they don't have is the video track. So what they tend to do.
I do remember, like, there was a whole thing like a couple of years ago where they found like a bunch of episodes in like somewhere in Africa or something like that.
That's right, and I think
just in a shed in Africa.
I think they were some of the Troughton ones as well. But with the Troughton ones, they're often and the Hartnell ones, they've got photos from the sets or stills from the original recording, and they kind of try and give you a feel for what's going on by using stills. In addition, they have recently started creating animated versions of some of the stories. And they've cleaned up the soundtrack, so they're not hissy and scratchy, and they put them on. And they're fairly basic animation, has to be said, but nevertheless, animated version to augment the soundtrack, so it's more visual, obviously. So that's kind of cool, and I hope they continue to do that with the missing ones. But I really did enjoy the Troughton ones. I am enjoying the Pertwee ones a lot more. I'm finding the Pertwee ones are less and less stagey, and there's a fair bit of action. There's gunfights and bombs.
Yeah. Well, they were trying to make him like a James Bond sort of cool sort of guy.
Kinda. I mean, it has literally got a gadget car.
Basically. Yeah, he's got a gadget car, and he knows Venusian Kung Fu.
And he does know Venusian Kung Fu. And he's used it several times already. I've been watching it.
Okay, I found what I was talking about. There was 9 missing episodes recovered from a TV station in Nigeria.
Okay. Does it say which episodes? There was one recently found
in Australia. Episodes 2, 4, 5, and 6 of Web of Fear.
It's one of the Troughton ones, yeah.
Yeah, they're Troughton ones. It's episodes 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 of Enemy.
Oh, okay. I watched those maybe a couple of months ago, and yeah, they were there. I mean, not every single episode, but they were most of them. That's the second time the Yetis appear in Troughton's Doctor Who. The Yetis really haven't come back, but everyone's kind of aware the Yetis were a thing.
Yeah.
but only from those two series. I don't believe Yetis appear again. There might be one where they do, which is like a weird smorgasbord one. But there's Web of Fear is one I watched recently. Yeah, cool. But yeah, Troughton's really good, and there's some insane ones. It's like, what the hell's going on? This feels like they took some drugs and wrote this episode. It honestly feels like I think they were trying to get into the 60s hippie kind of vibe or something. But that's me. Anyway,
okay, so my next one is me and my friend have been watching What We Do in the Shadows, the series. We're only like 3 or 4 episodes in, so we've not actually got that far, but we're really enjoying it. I've watched some of the season 2 episodes with you and my sister. So
yes. So what are you on? You're on season 1. Still.
Yeah, season 1 still. We've had the emotional vampire. We've had. I think the last one we watched was the witch hat episode.
That's a great one too.
Where there's a cursed hat that's made out of witch skin. That Laszlo Matt Berry insists isn't cursed, but literally everyone else acknowledges
it's cursed.
Yeah.
Every time anyone puts it on, something terrible happens. But Matt Berry continues to insist, no. You got some treats coming, and I have to say the hat makes a reappearance in season 2 as well.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
My favorite episode is still when Colin Robinson becomes a manager. So
he's an emotional vampire.
He's an energy vampire. So as long as he can drain the energy from a room, he's like doing good. And of course, as a manager, he has complete power over an environment. So he can just be annoying and suck all the energy out of everything.
And
he becomes super powerful.
It starts growing hair.
Yeah,
and stuff like that, right? Anyway, we don't want to spoil it too much, but yeah, that is a great episode. It has to be said. Season 3's out now, and I haven't started watching it yet, but I probably will over the Christmas period. After Christmas. I'm looking forward to watching it. But I haven't. I've parked it for now. I'm waiting for someone to watch it with me, who I watched the first 2 seasons with. So I will be getting to it. I really think it's a great show. It's a real treat that we've got these horror comedy TV series in the ether. And what I mean by that is we've got What We Do in the Shadows and Ghosts, which is one I talked about in my last comfy chair. There's another one too, which I think is finished now, but there was a recent one which is like, probably Ash versus the Evil Dead, right?
Yeah.
That's what I think. That was pretty great too. It's kind of nice that there's so much horror around that horror comedies have got a kind of home. It's kind of nice. There's a lot more horror on TV series of horror than there used to be. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And so that what happens then is you start getting these like sort of things like horror comedies or slightly odder sort of variants rather than a basic horror show of some sort. Cool. Okay, so What We Do in the Shadows. You can talk about it more once you've got for a couple of series, right? We can talk about it. Yeah, maybe if you get to season 3, we can cover that. We can. Okay, cool. My next one is Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay, that's also on my list.
Okay, so Little Trouble.
A film that can only really be described. Yeah, it's because I picked it out.
Because it was your birthday, right?
Yeah, so we watched that. So it's the film that can only be described in the way that the main character talks.
Indeed, and it feels like Kurt Russell is channeling John Wayne.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Now this film is bonkers in that the plot really doesn't make much sense, but we don't care because the energy and fun that's going on and the action, it's just quite terrific. I believe it was a bit of a flop when it came out because people didn't know what to make of it. But it's basically John Carpenter doing Indiana Jones.
That's probably the best way to describe it. So.
And old Jack Burton is like a class character.
Jack Burton, you gotta follow your advice there. You gotta constant chain of thought, like no filter,
and a bit of talking about himself in the third person too, and people saying who and stuff like that. There's all that, and I think
my favorite character though is Egg, because he just he's the only person that actually addresses when Jack asks a question, but it always just means that Jack will be more confused about what's going on.
Yeah.
They go through the sewers at one point, and there's like all this gunk, and Jack goes, "What's this?" And Egg just goes, "Black blood of the earth." And Jack goes, "What,
Yeah.
you mean oil?" And he goes, "No, I mean black blood of the earth." And just carries on.
Yeah.
But no one else addresses it.
Yeah, he's very good.
And then like a giant thing comes out of a hole and like grabs a guy and just disappears back in, and Egg chucks like a smoke bomb at it. And he goes, "It'll come out no more." And he's like, "Are we not going to talk about this?" It's like, "No, it'll come out no more. Carry on."
Yeah, and everyone just goes with him. It's like, whoa,
Yeah.
what's going on? I like the bit that always makes me laugh, and it's a bit of a quiet scene, really, was the point where he gives them all a magic potion to help them fight the bad
they're
guys.
clearly like stoned a bit.
And they're all, it's almost like they're coked up. They're saying,
Yeah.
"I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling, is it hot in here?" Something like that. It's really funny. I really, really like this. And Jack Burton, he's a funny character, you know, like, aren't you going to kiss her? Nah. Things like that.
The Jack Burton lives up to his own rules, so it's all in the reflexes. Anything he actually tries, he inevitably messes up at. If he like completely wings it, he does amazing. Like,
Yeah, he's seat of his pants kind of guy.
Yeah.
Plans don't work for him, but improvising does, right?
first
Like
time
one
he chucks
point it
the
goes,
knife at what's his name? Lopan. He misses by a mile. Then Lopan picks it up, chucks it back at him, and he catches it, chucks it straight back, and hits him in the forehead.
yeah, that's
literally like perfect example.
And it is interesting that some of his dress, certainly his jeans and his boots, are pretty much the same as Snake Plissken.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned it, I read a comic book where basically the premise was Jack Burton and Snake Plissken were actually the same person from different dimensions. And so there was hundreds of these Jack Burtons, different types. It's a bit like, in the Loki series, there's all these variants of Loki. It was kind of like that, but Jack Burton stroke Snake Plissken. It was ridiculous, really, because they're completely different characters. And it is weird because, like, in Escape from New York, he's kind of doing Clint Eastwood, and in Big Trouble, he's kind of doing John Wayne.
Yeah.
So weird. It's so weird. But Kurt Russell pulls it off, right? Because he's Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Kurt
Russell.
We should always be happy that Kurt Russell is in this kind of stuff. I really like this film. I really enjoyed it, but it makes no sense plot-wise. It makes no sense whatsoever. Certainly the beginning. I mean, it makes sense once they're trying to rescue people. That's all makes sense. But the whole why are they grabbing people in an airport? Why? Yeah, it's all that, and all these guys flying about too. It's bananas.
Yeah.
It's bananas. I really like it though, and like you say, Egg is really solid.
Yeah.
But I think the whole cast's really good. I think Kim Cattrall's really good as Gracie.
Yeah.
And their interaction with Jack.
The only problem is what's her name? Meow something.
The fiance.
Yeah, the Meow Yin.
Yeah.
She kind of doesn't do anything. She doesn't even talk.
She's not an act. She wasn't an actress really. She's more a model. I think she's been in a few films, but I think she was okay. But they just didn't give her much to do as well. So I really enjoyed that. But that's my last one. So one more from you.
Yeah, my last one is Muffin Time, the completely demented card game based on the internet show Astuff movie.
I didn't realise that. I thought it was just a game. I played it with you, and I've also played it with my mates too. It's one you acquired, didn't you? And
it's mental. It's like a weird alternate version of Uno, where instead of trying to get no cards, you're trying to get exactly 10. You're supposed to start your round with 10 cards in your hand, but you've got all sorts of different cards you can screw with people with. You can make them pick up cards. You can make them lose cards. You can change the objective. You can have everyone put their hands into the deck, reshuffle the deck, and start the game over again.
Yes.
There's specifically a card that you can play that means you can get up and leave the game.
Table. Yep. And there's some really silly ones as well. I think
There's
is there
the
ones
trap
silly
cards. The trap cards are the funniest.
Oh, and it's
It
cards
has
like,
the-
if someone else touches this card, you get
Yeah.
free cards.
So you just put it somewhere annoying.
Well, I put it on top of the deck.
Yeah.
So you literally can't draw anything unless you pick that
Yeah.
one. So that's kind of funny. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's and I remember isn't there a card something like if you are wearing a hat when you start your turn, you get free cards or
Yeah.
something like that. So
I think I got someone with if someone answers their phone, they have to draw cards or they lose the cards.
It was
And
me.
I rang the home phone and just sat there watching you, and you tweaked on immediately, but you had to go answer it.
I wasn't 100% sure. It
Yeah.
would have been more important, so I thought, I've got to go answer it. But I kind of knew, but
Yeah.
didn't really have a choice.
Yeah.
So you get people like that. Yeah, it's a really good game, actually. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, big recommend. So we talked about quite a lot of tabletop games in this show. We got
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4 tabletop games. So we are a gaming family, board gaming and
Yeah.
tabletop gaming family. So
And video
we've
games.
played way more games than we talked about here. I have
Yeah.
to tell you, we played way more than that. But when we get together, that's what we tend to do in an afternoon. We'll happily play a game or a few games for an afternoon, and it's good fun. It's good fun. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think we're one up comfy chair. So our next one will probably be beginning of January, I'd say. It might be a
something
lot
like
of Christmas stuff. We'll see. Right. We'll see.
Yeah, probably.
All right then. Okay. Let's wind up there. So bye from me.
Bye.
Do